Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Star Wars Stuff Podcast. My name is David.
My name is Zach.
Sorry, Zach.
Sorry, Craig.
That's
Go ahead,
that's
Craig.
our tradition there. And today we have a very special podcast. We're joined by a very special guest, Bob Wills, the CEO and Chief Content Officer of SPACECON San Antonio. He is back for a second podcast with us. Thank you so much for joining us, Bob. SPACECON, we're going to talk all about it on this podcast. It's probably my favorite convention, not simply because of the fact that it's in my backyard and all the stars come to me, but it's one of the most well-ran conventions. It's always a lot of fun, and I think there's a lot of parallels to the city of San Antonio with this convention. And, of course, you always have awesome lineups. You're going to have an awesome lineup this year as well. We're the Star Wars Stuff Podcast. You always have a great Star Wars lineup. So, yeah, we just want to talk about that stuff. We want to talk about anything else you want to talk about. And I also wanted to ask you about your origin story with SPACECON. How did you come up with it? Was it just maybe a different convention you had in mind other than the several that you've done before in the past? So, yeah, I really want to get the origin story first.
Okay. So here's because when we originally did our first con in 2018, it was called Celebrity Fan Fest. And it's where Jason Momoa and Ben Affleck. And we were in the most luxurious place ever to hold a Comic-Con, the JW Marriott 5-star resort. And of course, the weather was terrible that weekend, freezing weather plus rain for 2 days. And then the government shut down the new interchange at 1604 and 281. So it didn't make it easy for anybody to get out there. But, I lost my ass, but, we got started. And then we expanded from there. So, if I go back to last year, which we had 2 cons. We had the Superhero Comic-Con in June, and then we had SPACECON. And the irony was on SPACECON, we announced SPACECON in the beginning of November 2023 before we did anything for SPACECON, which was coming sooner. And people were like confused. They say, where are the guests for Superhero? But the origin was tied to the fact that as I was studying and looking at cons, and this is not a knock on them, but they're a hodgepodge of all different things. You got the Henry Winklers and you got Gilmore Girls, and it's like, and I know how they evolved into this is because it's hard to get people. Because especially now, since so much production is done out of this country, streaming series, it's harder to get people. But I just believed that, you had horror cons, and you had Walking Dead cons and a couple things where they just got the stars, but then you're just seeing the same people all over. And, the whole thought about SPACECON was looking at, you got Star Wars, you got Star Trek, you got Stargate, you got Farscape, you have, Lost in Space. There's a gazillion series all about space. And so that's basically, I said, and I believe that was a truism that, stay in the lane of tying it to space. Now, 95% of our guests are all space. I mean, we had some unique people, but, you look at this year's lineup, we've got 8 stars from Star Wars. We only have a couple of Star Trek this year. Last year we had 17 Star Trek.
Wow.
Last year we had Stargate. This year we have Battlestar Galactica. Even when you take the oh my God, Gil Gerard and Aaron, who are from Buck Rogers. That goes back a long ways. But
Yeah.
we've just got a lot of people in different series. I was very close this year, on several people. I wanted to get Seth MacFarlane, who did, obviously very popular series. It was on TV. We got Adrian Palicki, but I wanted to get that whole lineup. I was also trying to get Tim Allen, who did Galaxy Quest, because I can get most of the cast, but it doesn't make sense, that you don't at least have Tim Allen or Sigourney Weaver.
Sure.
But there's so many things that we can do and stay within the theme of SPACECON. And, so I'm pretty excited about that, especially when you look at our Star Wars lineup this year. I've been trying to get Ian McDermott. Yeah, there you go. Emperor Palpatine. People are very excited about him.
Yeah.
We got Lando, Billy D. Williams. You got the two that are selling very, very well, Natasha and Ivana there. And I'm gonna tease something. There's somebody that we may add to that group. I'll know, by Wednesday at the latest. That would really excite the hell out of people.
Wow.
Awesome.
So,
Bob, it's incredible how you have such a strong lineup every year. But you know what I love is that as it gets closer, you still keep adding people.
Well, I can't tell you what's going on right now, but there was just a reason. Although I've said twice now that I was done. But anyways, something came up. I was with a Hollywood agent in Las Vegas, who's repping this person. So we'll see. And if I get this person, we may add another person. So we'd have like a cast photo from, Ahsoka. So we'll see.
That's cool.
It may happen. It may not. I think it's 50-50 at best, but I'm willing to do it.
I love that you're trying, though, that you keep pushing the envelope. And that's one thing that I've seen about this is how many years has SPACECON been going on now?
This is only the second year.
Okay, that's what I thought. I thought it was, and yet it's like your lineups are incredible.
Yeah, well, something. I don't want to condemn or talk down at other showrunners, but you better put a damn good lineup out there and be true to your fans and not give them. I mean, there are shows, and I'm not going to name the shows. There are shows in Texas, and there are shows not far from us outside of Texas, but they have a shit show. They have a bad year. They don't bring much in, and shame on them. If you do it right, if you spend the money and market it right, you'll get this. But when you give people a scattering of things that don't connect, don't have a relationship, you look at there's a company called Creation Entertainment. They're the ones who put on the big Star Trek show in Vegas. They bring an awful lot of Star Trek people there every year. And you have if you want to go to that show and be a VIP, a VIP, and they sell like 5,000 of them. You know what a VIP pass is to be there for the whole show in Vegas? It's like Tuesday through Sunday. It's $800. $800. But then you have shows that have been doing it for a long time, and they got one-day passes that you can get in for $35 to $45. You're never going to see the Rolling Stones for $35 to $45. But I get no bitching about our prices. When we first started it and people were thinking about how other shows operate and the type of lineups they bring, they were saying, oh, crap. But, our biggest selling ticket is our Star VIP and then our 3-day passes. Whereas you think in most shows are single-day tickets. And but no, I'm very happy. The fans are happy. We're less than 4 weeks away. I mean, it'll be 3 weeks from this Friday when the show opens, and it's going to be a great show. And I just when you look at people like Paul Bettany, he did Star Wars as Dryden Voss, and Carrie Ann Moss, who was in show, Master Indara, and she was, she got killed off in the first episode, although she did multiple episodes after that as
Sure.
flashbacks to her.
Yeah.
But, and I'll tell you, the guy that people ask for, and he does, Sam Witwer. I mean, people love his character.
Oh, yeah.
They love his character.
I think they also love how big of a fan he is himself. They can appreciate that.
Yeah, he'll sit and talk about all of these. Like I sat in line for him in May. I'm over in Michigan, Bob, and there was something in Detroit by me, and I went to go meet Sam, and he was sitting and taking his time and chatting with fans about different theories. And like I got a 4-month-old at home, and I asked him what he recommends for how I show my son Star Wars someday, and he sat and talked with me. And I think a lot of those interactions you get with Sam are incredible, and I'm sure that'll happen at SpaceCon with tons of people who haven't met him yet. And he's a real good one to have for sure.
Yeah, I was going to pull up. Give me a second here.
Yeah, actually, I was going to say Zach last year drove all the way from Michigan to SpaceCon last year.
That's true. We made it.
You got to meet up with Hayden and you, and we got the picture right here. I'll put it up on screen.
There you go.
Yeah,
that's a great picture.
Yeah, that turned out really good. Those sabers that they're holding were toy sabers that my brother and I had, pretending to be those two. And I'm like, well, how fitting would it be if they could hold our toy lightsabers that we beat the crap out of and have them take a picture with it? And they're like, oh, I remember these. And it was a real cool opportunity. I'm glad that memory was captured like that. It was a fantastic experience.
Have you guys looked at our panel lineup?
Yes, we got it right here, actually. We put it on the screen.
You look at that panel and all the incredible presentations we got going on, Friday is, the lighter of the 3 days, but there's great lineups in there. You have, of course, we have Friday night at 6:45. You have Carrie Ann Moss, who was probably most notable for playing Trinity in the 3 Matrix series.
Yeah.
But she's, a big character.
Sure.
Saturday is just going to be, awesome. You have and David Duchovny, and then we have our one with the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Clark Gregg and Chloe Bennett, the top 2 stars from that series. And then I think we got Karen. Everybody's excited about Karen Gillan. Story is her. I've been trying to get her for 6 years.
That's awesome.
Wow.
And then,
congratulations.
There's always something in filming, and her agent called me and says, hey, her filming got pushed back to November. She's available. I called you first because I know how hard you've been trying to get her, so we got her.
Awesome.
But, when you look at that stretch there after the cosplay contest, at 4:15, you got Karen Gillan. Then we have somebody who's just an absolute character and great on stage, Giancarlo Esposito, followed up by Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany, and then followed that up with Ian McDermott, who we're bringing over from London.
Oh, amazing.
I should say we're bringing him over from New York because he's going to fly from London to New York first, spend some days there, having a little vacation, and then he's going to come down here. We set that up. And then on, Sunday, you got Natasha doing a panel. You got George Takei. There's not, basically there's just 3 original series Star Trek that are still alive, Mr. Captain Kirk and George Takei and geez, it'll come to me in a second. Anyways, but then we've got the bunch of folks from Starship Troopers coming there. I'm actually really excited to meet Michael Ironside.
Yeah.
Who's in there. And then, of course, we got the big panel with Brie Larson at 1:30 and then 2:15. And I would be remiss to tell people, we have there's only like 40 or 50 of them left. We have Brie Larson. She came out with a book that has nothing to do with sci-fi. It's called Party People. And you're going to get her book, and she's going to sign it right there for you. These are not pre-signed books. They're just handing you. So where in the world can you get an autograph from somebody like her for $49.99?
It doesn't happen.
It
That's
does
crazy.
It
not
doesn't
happen.
happen.
Yes.
I saw that. I was like, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Really.
So, anyways, when
You must feel really good about this lineup.
I feel fabulous because when you look at how our sales are, we were on day 45 till the show, which was 15 days ago, something like that. We were 30% ahead of where we were last year.
Wow.
Last year was a very good show. And, we kind of did things. We kind of took our layout different. Expo, we had a tent outside. Now, the whole thing has always been a crapshoot because we signed the agreement to go there. Now, we knew that the cheerleaders were in the Coliseum, but it's when are the Spurs going to play? Because
Right.
Yeah.
And we're so happy they're not playing till Sunday afternoon. So
There you go.
probably saw this. So we decided to open up SPACECON at 9 a.m. And then we close at 4. So people out of town can get out of town earlier, but that's all going to be a great, great lineup. We actually, we think the parking situation is going to be far better because we have all these allocated. Then there's another, it's called the Gambler lot right off of, it used to be called SWBC Parkway. Now it's called Frost Bank Park. Not AT&T Parkway. Now it's called Frost Bank Park
Center.
Anyways, when you're coming down from 35, where you come down to where you have to turn right over in there, just before about 2 blocks before on the left, you turn left there, and there's a big lot there. We're gonna have a very inexpensive lot there. And we'll have bus service, so we'll just drive people across back and forth. Everybody, really, they don't put the cones or anything out for the parking for the Spurs game until 10:30 in the morning. So at this time, everybody should be at the show. So they're not going to have any problems at all. So, we addressed everything. But we moved admissions into Expo. Half of Expo Hall 2 is all admissions. The other half will be the free play arcade. I'll talk about that in a second. And then we have the big VIP lounge that's new this year for all the people that are VIPs to
That's
get
cool.
in there.
That's awesome. You can tell you really put a lot of thought into the whole thing.
And I spent a lot of money because I bought a lot of games. I don't know if you guys play video games. If you go to like a Dave & Buster's or Andretti's, they have some really good games. There's these gigantic Mission Impossible games and several other big giant games. We bought more pinball machines. I spent $200,000 buying more equipment in there to make the experience really well. So we'll have
That's awesome.
Well, close to 100 games in there.
That's amazing.
You get to play for free as long as the show's open.
That's really incredible. I've never heard of anybody doing that at a convention.
And I really love the variety too. You have pinball, you have old school pinball, you have the old school arcade, the Pac-Man where the one person sits on one side, the other person sits on the other. It's like a tabletop. I played a lot of games. Old
school pinball. These are new pinball games. They're not just old school games.
I was talking about the variety. You have old and new in there, and I was like, wow. It's like I don't think you can really go to a place, maybe even on the planet, that has this type of variety. And the shooting games too. One of my favorites back, I think, in the 90s was the Terminator shooting game. And Ted and I from Countdown, we played that like several times. Brought back so many memories. So much fun. Ted beat me in everything, I think. He's younger than me. But it was a lot of fun.
In the boss's butt. You don't want him to feel bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible. I mean, you can get lost in there the whole con. If that was like a possibility. But I mean, there's so many other things to do. There's so many vendors. There's so many panels. I love the setup that you have now where the actual big panel, I think the only panel area is
Right.
in one of the main halls
Right.
where the vendors are located. And I
Yeah,
thought that was a brilliant
we have
move.
1,700 seats there.
It's awesome.
Nice.
Incredible.
So plenty of seats. And it'll be nonstop stuff all day long going on in there. So people will be coming in and out and circling around. And,
Yeah.
you know,
This
You know, I
has to be one of the fastest growing conventions that I've ever seen. You know, I remember seeing some conventions come and they're slow to build up, but you in 2 years have already had just incredible lineups.
well, and the fact that we were profitable for year one for SPACECON. And so it gives you a lot of confidence in that your thinking was right, that you're doing it the right way. And I mean, last year, how can you go wrong when you got, Hayden Christensen, Ewan McGregor, and Mrs. Soka herself?
Yeah, that was amazing. I met all three of them, and that got my butt to drive down from Michigan to you guys down in Texas just for those three, and definitely some more on top of that. But kind of like what David was talking about, how you can get lost out there, and I was constantly having a good time, Bob, the entire time we were there, just going from one booth to the next, and it was an amazing show. It was so much fun.
Well, good. And that's what you hope. You want to give people a good experience. And like I said, we get some knuckleheads that want to complain about something if they don't like somebody because they don't like a celebrity because of their politics or things like that. And I basically tell them to shut the F up or I'm going to ban them. I said, this is not your place for you. You don't go attacking people. We are not a fan forum. Remember, I opened up the SPACECON fan forum on Facebook this year, but anybody on the primary site, I tell them the primary site is a fan information site. There's people that are communicating with me. Hey, can you bring this person? Can you bring that person? And they suggest things. And, and if you guys have seen that, I answer everybody.
I do notice that. I do notice that you're constantly interacting with people in there. We're again, who else does that? I don't see any.
Well, most shows do not answer the fans.
I know, that's what I'm saying. It's people see that.
Yeah. So that's how you build loyalty and that they like the situation, and you build long-term value to your show. It's good that I have a background in marketing.
Well, it's paying off.
That was a good investment, Bob.
Yeah, really.
Listen,
really
and I have 7 companies and 3 nonprofits, but this is a passion project. You're not going to get incredibly wealthy. My large ad agency is a $65 million business. We have another agency that's about a $10 million, it's young, it's only 5 years old. It's like a $10 million business. And then we have a production studio. And of course we have PMX events. And then we have a company called CSAV, which is an audio video company that does all conventions. And so, all the big equipment and the video walls and everything at our show, we own all that equipment. So we're just taking care of ourselves.
Very cool.
Well, that's why the people can see, like, it's clearly a passion project. Like when people are really passionate about something, their heart is in it. You know what I mean? We could see your heart is in it. You're answering Facebook questions and requests, and you know what I mean? Like that. Other people aren't doing that on any of these other conventions. That's how we know you love it. We can see how excited you get talking about these guests.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping, our show in 2026 is scheduled for June 12th to the 14th. And if I can make the magic happen, it looks like it's going in the right direction, we'll announce 2 or 3 guests, major headliners at the show. I'm not on the panel schedule, but somewhere in the end of the day, Saturday, with all those people, I'll make a special announcement of the dates of the show next year and who's going to start us off.
That's awesome.
There must be a few guests that you're just were like, I really want to get that guy.
Well, sure. Would you like to have Harrison Ford? Sure.
Yes.
So, Bob, I'll tell you this. For April Fool's Day, I made a mock-up of SpaceCon San Antonio, and I put Harrison Ford's face on it, and I sent it to Ted. And I didn't fool him. He said, "No way, that they're there. I don't believe you. It's April 1st." But yeah, that is like our dream guest, I think. At least I know for Craig it is.
He looked pretty old in the Captain America: Brave New World when you saw him in the movie this year, and that was made a couple of years ago. Could he stand up to the rigors of it? Probably could. I mean, the guy was always a pretty fit guy and healthy, and
yeah, he went to San
Diego. Pretty good for a guy
Comic-Con.
that was a carpenter who became an actor.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But it's like when you're Harrison, it's like, why would I want to do that? You know what I mean? Like,
Jason Momoa, who we became friends, he said something really smart when he was in Atlanta when they were filming the Batman versus Superman movie, and all of the Justice League characters like Wonder Woman and Aquaman and the Flash, they all had bit parts. He says, "Bob, I was over there for 9 months living in a 12-foot trailer. I mean, that's where I sat all day and waited in between all things being done." He says, "When I calculated what I got paid versus a Comic-Con, says I got paid $30,000 a day. But I come to a show and one day and I make $200,000.
wow.
And before he really, really made it big, of course, we'd had him. We had him in November of 18, and we had him back in June of 19 because we had him 6 weeks before he did the first Aquaman movie, and we had some special footage we got to show at our convention. If you were at that show, there were like 8 panels all day long. They're all starring Jason Momoa, and he introduced the highlights to the Aquaman. But he was very, very successful. He was a great guy. He's one of the best people you could ever have with fans, and they wanted me to bring him to this year's show, but it was kind of a crazy situation with crazy terms. Said, "Hey, if you do this and you pay in advance and all this," and because he wants to raise money to do a capital project that he was big on, but there's just one thing that scared the heck out of me, and that was if something comes up and he can't make it at your show. And I said, "I'm paying $500,000, and he could decide he can't come this year and it's next year." No. So I backed out. But it's interesting how some of the angles come up about how you get people, but for the most part, it's negotiating with talent and getting them come here. There's people that were surprised, until we lost Haley to a film, Haley Steinfeld, who in 2000, 2 years ago, we had Haley, Elizabeth, and Brie, and they all did fantastic. They hit their T's, and we were able to get all 3 of them to come back at lesser money than we did back then. And, Brie and Elizabeth are 1-2 in sales and going to do very, very well. And I just did a post a little while ago, and I said, don't think, people said, can I buy Elizabeth at the show? And I said, if she wasn't sold out, but I happen to know from the numbers, she'll be sold out before the show gets here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dang.
So not concerned about that, and if there's any that are remaining, it's going to be on Sunday afternoon.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's such huge names. I mean, it's really impressive. It's like you just keep looking at the lineup thinking, my gosh, how does Bob do it?
Well, listen, and I don't say this with, beating my chest and bragging, but we have the best talent lineup in America this year. You take any con, because there's some people who go to like New York Comic Con, but you can't get your picture taken. They're going to talk about, they're going to be there to do promotional work, not to meet fans for autographs and photo ops. But we have the best lineup in America this year, and I'm proud to say that because I want our fans to have a great experience. sooner or later, its design is the show will get easier to market because, one thing when you look at, I'd like to be like, if you look at the advantage that they have for New York Comic Con and San Diego Comic Con is when those tickets go on sale, they sell out in days and weeks.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like I go to MegaCon and, I've done VIP for years, but now it's like impossible to get on the VIP list because it's been going on for so long and it sells out in seconds. So.
Yeah. And, and that, to me, if I got to that point, the thing I would do is I would always, it's kind of like the Masters golf tournament. When you have a pass, it's always your pass unless you decide not to buy it. Once you're in, you're in.
Yeah.
And I think that's important.
What color jacket would we get, though?
Hot pink.
I think Craig would love that.
So would Jason Momoa.
Designed by Jason Momoa. I like it.
Yeah.
And he's going to be in the upcoming Supergirl. He'll be Lobo. So there's the space cosmic relationship right there.
Yeah. Yeah. I was really hard trying to get Supergirl. But
oh, yeah.
I think Mr. Gunn was kind of put an embargo on all the Superman talent this year because they were going into filming
Sure.
The next one, and they're trying to control the environment. And I can't argue with him because I thought the Superman movie was fabulous.
Yes.
It was absolutely fabulous. When I first saw it, I didn't like it. And I heard everybody saying everything about it, and because I went in with expectations.
Yeah.
I mean, I was a big Henry Cavill fan.
Yeah, as we all
Me
were.
too.
But the new Superman movie was made more comic book like, and Henry Cavill was more like real world scenario. And anyway, so I went back a week later and watched it again, and I really loved it because I went in with false expectations. But all the casting, people were livid, pissed that they were replacing Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
Who? David who?
Yeah.
He did a hell of a job.
I really liked it. I know people seem really polarized on that movie. Either they loved it or they hated it. I really did. I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed him as Superman too.
Yeah.
So
they didn't beat the box office that Man of Steel did.
Yeah.
Man of Steel was a fabulous film.
Yeah.
But they're different views on how you do that. But just loved it, and I expect most of the work that comes out of James Gunn for all the other projects they'll do. Now my wife is just getting off tangent here. I haven't seen the latest Peacemaker episode, and my wife said, "You are not going to believe who's in here." And I think I guessed one of them, but anyways, so I'm actually watching that after we do your cast.
Nice.
Peacemaker.
Yeah, but you did have Maxwell Lord here last year. You had Sean Gunn, so you got one of the Gunn brothers.
Yeah,
which was a great panel because Michael Rooker just did Michael Rooker things, and he hopped off the stage and got into the crowd, and it was fantastic.
I'll tell you a funny story about Sean Gunn, and I'm going to see if I can find this photo. We were at the show last year, and I'm over in the. Oh, here we go. I think I got lucky. Yep. So I found a picture. Anyways, we're at the show, and I'm in the green room, and I'm talking to Sean Gunn, Sean and Michael. And I said, "Hey guys, I gotta get ready. I gotta go over and meet Victor Wembanyama." Victor had contacted us, and he wanted to meet Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen and Rosario Dawson.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a thing where we agreed he came in back of the house, and we went into a private green room we had over there with the three of them. And then Victor came over to behind the stage for the panel. We had them, and now I don't know if this picture is going to show up here. I don't know. Where's my camera? Looks awful white. Does it look white out?
It's kind of like really glowy.
Yeah, it's like washed out.
Well, there's a picture. You can see.
Okay, I see Victor on the right side.
Yeah, and the glowy area is because the sun is on. Why is that? There you go.
Oh, Sean Gunn, yeah.
There you go. So Sean goes to me. He said, "You're going over to see Victor Wembanyama?" She says, "If I could meet anybody in the world, past, present, future, live or dead, I would take Victor Wembanyama over God or Jesus Christ." And when you look at the picture of him, let me see here. How do I get that?
Yeah. If you tilt it, right there.
Look at him. He's staring at him in like awe of him. And he told me, he says, "Hey, if I could ever do you a favor, you let me know, because you just made my life dreams come true."
That's awesome.
Who knew that you had somebody of his stature, but it's somebody else he wants to meet?
Yeah.
Well, you have another person right here, Bob. I'm a big Spurs fan, been a Spurs fan my whole life. I bought season tickets for the first year of Victor's rookie season, and I sat 7 rows up from the court, and I witnessed everything. But yeah, I heard he was there, and I was hoping there was a chance that we'd be able to see
tried
him.
to get them out. I had, what's our guys? We have this guy with this lightsabers booth.
Yeah, I know. He entered, and I think they actually told us to leave, and we didn't know what was going on. And Ted looked at me, and he was like, "I think Victor's behind that curtain you were just at."
Yeah,
and I was like,
he came in there with they had a special lightsaber. What the hell's that guy's name?
Yeah.
They're coming again.
We saw the pictures afterwards, and it was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, they presented him with a special lightsaber.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I couldn't talk. I just wanted him to come out on stage and say hi, because you don't have to do anything. But his manager was, "No, we don't do that." I hate it when people don't recognize, and I mean, especially because you know what his nickname is, right?
It's Wemby. It's
his
Slenderman.
nickname is the Alien.
Right, the Alien as well. Yeah.
Oh,
So that makes perfect sense for SPACECON.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah, it totally does. I mean, yeah, and I have the same viewpoint as you. I mean, there's opportunities that present themselves. Would have been a match made in SPACECON and social media. Social media would have gone crazy with that. All the press for SPACECON going to the NBA sports side of the house for social media would be epic, and SPACECON's and they would get out there more, because I do think this is the best convention. It's the best ran. It's the most fan friendly. It's the easiest to kind of navigate. I mean, there's not that whole big confusion that you see sometimes, like at a big like.
Oh, you mean like how crazy it is at MegaCon?
Yeah, I almost went this year. I didn't get to go, but
have you ever been to MegaCon?
I haven't. Have you, Zach?
I haven't.
Well, Craig has.
Yeah, Craig has.
Craig, how crazy is it to navigate MegaCon, where it's one end they have almost all the autograph people, and then nearly a half a mile away at the other end is where they would have Ewan and Hayden and.
I literally said it on last night's podcast. I literally said the story. I was getting a photo or a picture from Wen, and on the other side of it, I had to get Ewan. And I literally last night was saying I literally had to run to make it to Ewan. I was the last person for Ewan. I was out of breath, and they're like, hurry up, you're the last person. And I'm like, and I said to Ewan, I'm like, Ming was late, and he starts cracking up, thinking I'm making it up. It was like, no, she was late.
But how far you have to go from their one end is doing these, then they took their big VIPs, they put them on the other end, and the aisle, the center aisle, going from one end all the way to, it's only 6 feet wide.
Now imagine it was a Saturday and I'm trying to run through that.
Oh yeah, and the place is packed to the gills. Our aisles are depending on the aisles, 10 to 12 feet wide. This is 6 feet wide, and they have 60,000 people at that show.
It's horrible.
It's horrible.
I literally had to do it running to try and through a Saturday. You know how crazy it is on a Saturday. You can't even walk.
I've been there on a Saturday.
Yeah, it's awful the way they do that layout.
Yeah. You know who started MegaCon?
I don't, but it was FX originally, right?
No, it was GalaxyCon. The guy that has GalaxyCon, he started it and then he sold it to Fan Expo. Informa, the corporation name's Informa.
So who was it? Who was the person?
GalaxyCon owner.
Oh, okay.
He had that. He sold that, and then he took all the money he got from them, and then he started GalaxyCon, and they're in like 8 markets, mostly just tier 3 markets like Oklahoma City, Des Moines, Iowa, Raleigh, North Carolina. Different level.
Yeah,
but it's a good show.
Yeah, MegaCon is usually pretty solid.
MegaCon's great.
Yeah,
great.
But Saturday, it's torture because, you have these big guests like Hayden going on a Saturday only, and the line for him will be 6 hours. If you don't have a VIP, you're not getting out of there and doing anything else.
Well, if you're going to go, I would tell this to anybody, in all truth, if you're going to see more than one main headliner star, you better get a VIP pass. Because you're gonna hate, because you're the last ones going to get through those lines. You want to go right in as fast as you can.
It's the only way to do it. Otherwise, it's like you spend the whole day, your whole Saturday, in just one line.
Yeah, that's not. I've had some people that have. I answered a guy last week. He bought on Saturday, bought 12 photo ops.
Wow. That's an uphill battle for the day for sure. Yeah.
Well, we'll be open. It's he'll have 10 hours, so he's got to get about one every 45 minutes, which is not going to be a problem. It's not going to be a problem. I mean, we're the company we use called Celeb Photo Ops. They do a great job, and
they do.
They keep our people to task, and they get these things done fast, and
yeah,
they've got the right setup with all the printers printing those things, and but Saturday's gonna be a challenge because you have all 6 of our major headliners are all there on Saturday. So with all the photo ops going on, Elizabeth and Bree, and you get to the secondary, but even when you get down to the Grant Gustins and things like that.
I don't understand personally why some of these big celebrities wouldn't do 2 days, maybe just take a little bit less money for doing 2 days, but then you get so much more.
Well, it all depends on the person, but see, that's because it's the same. The travels, Paul Bettany, he just now is done. He just wants to do 1 day at shows because like he was not this year, but last year in 24, I saw him over in at MegaCon, and he was just there for a day. He's happy to come in, make his $90,000 in 1 day and be in and out, and bada boom, bada bing. You fly in Friday night, you work Saturday, you get on the plane, you go home on Sunday. Sunday morning.
But somebody like a Hayden or a Ewan, the demand for them is so unbelievable. I can't even imagine how many they do in a day.
I could tell you, but I would have to kill me.
Could you give us an about number?
His 2 days, he's between autographs and photographs, is around 2,000.
Wow.
Yeah, you're taking a picture every 8 seconds.
Wow.
You're doing an autograph about every 15 seconds.
Yeah.
You have to have a well-oiled machine to get the people in and out.
You do.
Yeah.
I actually went to.
And fans don't understand this. So if I'm talking to your fans, it says an autograph is not a meet and greet. You bought an autograph, but they want to tell their life story and things like this. And
Yeah.
I said, you can't, I'm trying to think of the guy we had the last guy from Stargate. Help me, guys. The lead from Stargate.
Is it Richard Dean Anderson?
Richard Dean Anderson. Richard Dean Anderson had his first autograph session start at 11 o'clock on Saturday last year. You know what time he finished it? One session, because he had to go break for autographs and lunch, 4:30 in the afternoon.
Oh, wow.
Oh, man.
Wow.
And when we shut down the show on Sunday, it ends at 5:30, and they started tearing down the whole room. Virtually everything was torn down except for his autograph booth. He was still signing.
Wow.
When I went and talked to him in the photo booth around 5 o'clock, I said, Richard, I love how you're treating the guy. It's like a reunion with every person. I said, but it's an autograph. It's not a meet and greet. I said, you're going to be here. And he had to work, show closed at 8. He went to like 9:45 Saturday night. And then he went to like 7:15 on Sunday. He's a great guest, but it's an autograph. It's not a meet and greet.
Yeah.
And it's not a family reunion like you haven't seen these people in 20 years.
Yeah. But he also has that MacGyver fan base too, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, we have all those people as well.
True.
He's a wonderful guy.
But that's great for the fans.
Yeah.
Every one of them left thinking that was so awesome.
Except for the people that were at the end of the line and had to wait there for freaking 4 hours.
Good point.
Yeah.
There were a
been
lot
there.
of people that their other appointments were disrupted.
Right.
Because that happens.
Yeah.
You have to have a well-oiled machine to, we look at, we have a strict limit as to how many, there are people that will sell 250 autographs in an hour. I know the shows, we know them, but we have a limit of 150. The numbers have to work at 150 for us so that it's not a dreadful experience for the fans. And because once you get behind,
that's
it's
it.
terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, last year we had Rosario Dawson. She was supposed to be at the show at 11 o'clock. She didn't get there at 2:30 because her flights were delayed. And so, that threw everything behind. And then Saturday night, if you remember, they had a panel on the stage with her and Hayden.
It's
at
fantastic.
8 o'clock. And then at 9 o'clock, when it was over, Hayden had to go back over into Expo 2, and he did 2 hours of autographs and photo ops over there to try to get caught up. But there were still some groups that he couldn't get caught up because they were so far behind from Rosario, because they had all those duos that they had to do with Rosario, and that just really threw things in a tizzy. So, unfortunately, there are a couple things that happened in the Comic-Con world that you wish wouldn't happen. You schedule not to happen, and you don't get, if a con runner, owner, whoever you want to call, however you want to call us, I call myself Chief Concept Officer. If you don't respect the experience for a con goer, then you're going to have a bad show, and you're going to have to defend a lot of bad vibes. Nothing makes me happier, when I read, like people were talking about, last year how bad Dallas Fin Expo or Comic Palooza was last year, and they were saying, I mean, people were asking me, why don't you buy Comic Palooza? Because it's so poorly run. A lot of people don't know why it's that way. The city of Houston owns the show.
Oh.
And they use it to backfill into the George Brown Convention Center. So the dates move by, okay, they don't have anything there and they want to throw it in there. But, the show this year was They had no headliners. They just had Hayden. They had Hayden, and everybody else was just tier 3, tier 4. And I don't know why. I don't know if it's a city, but they asked me if I wanted to buy it, and then you find out that all the city councilmen and everybody working with, they expect you to give them all the stuff they want. Well, I want to have a private meeting with Hayden, or I want to do this.
Oh my gosh!
And you got politicians throwing their. I mean, it's not exactly a well-oiled machine. There's something that's corruption in government.
Wow.
But hopefully someday it'll get sold, and the city will have to treat them respect. What do you want to know, guys?
Go ahead.
We got 38 great celebrities.
It's amazing, honestly. Now, the last couple of years, you've held it right around the end of October. And I always take my kids to the Fort Wilderness cabins at Disney World because it's decorated incredible for Halloween. I mean, there's just literally thousands of decorations. But I know next year it's going to be in the summertime, so I really want to come.
Yeah, but maybe SPACECON is going to be in October.
Don't tell me that. I thought it was moved.
I will tell you this.
We flipped SPACECON in the summer. And that's done to accommodate celebrities that we'd like to come for SPACECON that's harder to get in October. Because there's a lot of filming going on in the fall.
That's when they usually start filming again, right? The shows.
Well, there's, like right now they're shooting Ahsoka and over in Europe, and it's going to get done around anywhere between the 15th and 31st of October. So there's a lot of shows in the filming going on. And especially when you look at all the stuff that's in filming in production now with both Marvel and with DC.
Yeah. Tons.
Yeah. I mean, the Karen Gillan, she was supposed to be filming Jumanji 3, and it got moved to November. That's how we lucked out in getting her.
Yeah, so maybe this flip will allow for some other big names to show up. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, you might hear about that.
Very cool.
You did.
I'm curious, Bob, if you could have 5 celebrities of your choice, you can have any 5, who would they be?
Oh, come on. You know the first 3.
Hamill, Ford. Who else would be? Those are 1 and 2, right?
Well, no. My number 1 and number 2 would be Robert Downey Jr.
Right.
Okay.
And Scarlett Johansson.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Those are my 2. Because they're unicorns. They've never done it. I mean,
That's true.
Mark Hamill's done it,
Ford, though.
Ford is not.
Would he be in your top 5?
Yeah, he'd be in my top 5.
Okay. Who would be the other 2?
Well, things change. I mean, right now, you have to go with who's hot at the time. I mean, I'll tell you, okay, so I know I almost had him once, so I would want Deadpool and Wolverine.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
That'd be huge.
That would be huge.
Maybe Tom Holland?
Tom Holland.
Wow.
The thing about Tom says he's never going to do them anymore because he's gotten so big. But he, when they had him, that's about 5 years ago. And I'll tell you, I'll right here to your audience, I'm confessing the biggest mistake I ever made.
Oh, man.
Was Tom Holland. I could have had Tom in 2019. He ended up going to Comic Palooza. They got him because I said no.
Oh, man.
They wanted, $400,000, and I still had the stinging feeling experience from the previous year of paying $400,000 to Ben Affleck, and he only half covered. But I don't blame him for it.
No.
It was our show, the weather, first year. I probably didn't market it as good as I should have. So, but I said no to having Tom Holland. Now, the problem with Tom Holland is who comes and wants to get an autograph with Tom Holland?
Teenage girls.
13 to 16-year-old girls. And when he was in Houston and you saw the signing area and the autograph area, I mean, I never saw one so big in my life for him. And yeah, they were all there to meet their dreamboat guy. But the problem is they're not your customer. They're not going to come back the next year.
True.
Because you're not going to have anybody like Tom Holland the next year.
Well, I mean, you're going to get all the Marvel fans are going to appreciate it. You know what I mean?
I understand. But you're going to have a lot of 13 and 16-year-old girls. When I brought, and I don't know if I've ever told you this, when I brought Jason Momoa back the second time, we had him in there and we studied our sales. 96% of the persons that bought a Jason Momoa photo op were Hispanic women. They love him.
Yeah.
They love him. And he does this great, if you've ever seen any of the pictures where he does this thing, is like, he'll let the woman jump up on him and hug him. And then Jason's got his hand out like this, pushing away the husbands.
Yep.
It's a very unflattering thing to the guys. The women love it. The women love it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's always a great.
It was hard to imagine that 96% of everything we sold was to a Hispanic surname woman.
That's unbelievable.
Dreamboats.
That's funny.
Dreamboats. None of us know what that means, but.
Well, I don't know, Bob. I don't know about you.
Yeah, it's incredible. And yeah, I just don't want to come off as like, yeah, you're a guest on the show and we're going to promote the convention SpaceCon because you're on the show. It is really that good, guys. Everyone that's listening and watching, it really is that good. You see the lineups. It's top tier guests. It's top tier guests from Star Wars. And of course, Star Wars is our thing. But last year, I was telling everyone, hey, if you can't go to Japan Celebration, come to San Antonio. In the country, you can basically have a Star Wars Celebration type experience because you had Hayden, Ewan, Rosario. I mean, it was top tier. And that's how we were marketing on the podcast. And I think some people actually did fly out. And,
so let me just tell you something.
Yeah.
We have people coming to SpaceCon this year from all 50 states in the country, including Alaska and Hawaii.
Wow.
And 12 countries we have people from Australia, we have people from London, we have people from Singapore that are coming. We are not a local show. I would say that Houston and Dallas shows, they're basically getting everybody in 150 mile diameter from their show. We are truly a worldwide show because of the lineup and the way we operate the show. But it's all about the guest list.
Absolutely.
You gotta be willing to drop $2.5 to $3 million on talent to get the fans to come.
I just thought of a big one. What about Natalie Portman?
Oh.
She said she's not doing them anymore.
I didn't know she ever did.
Huh?
I don't think she ever did
she's done
conventions.
She's done a couple. She's done a couple.
I know she's doing signings now where you mail in and get her autograph.
Yeah. There's a lot of people that don't want to get in front of the public. They don't want to get sick. They don't want to have to shake hands. They don't want them to hug them and kiss them. And that's why you gotta love people like Brie Larson and Elizabeth Olsen. They'll pose in almost any way you want. Hugging, kissing.
I got proof right here.
Yeah. There you go. Yes. You when you make it a personal experience, it's the stuff you can remember. There you go.
Yeah. all great experiences, and we talk about it all the time on the podcast.
Yeah.
These people that do these conventions, they're genuine, they're nice. I mean, you're nice to them, they're nice back. I mean, you use your manners, you're polite. I mean, I asked Katie in this picture, I said, is it okay if I put my arm on your shoulder? She said, yeah, sure. And then she put her arm around mine, and I was like, this is going to be a great photo.
You know, you go back into 23 when we had Andrew Garfield. It was the first time he ever did a show.
Yes.
And Andrew is our all-time greatest selling guest. Yeah. Okay. Now, see that? Now, you weren't in the early groups. If you went to the first and maybe even the second session with him, and he had as we had like 2,700 photographs we did. When you started out with that, he was very but Andrew is an introverted guy. It's funny to say that for him. He's very introverted. He's very shy. And he was like paranoid, like, how am I taking pictures with these people I don't know? And when people were looking at the picture and they were like, oh, he doesn't look very happy to be there. But as he went along, you just saw him changing, and he got it, and he found his groove. And I'm very happy for the people that got him in day 2 or the end of day 1. But he really, really came around, and he made everybody happy. I mean, I have enormous amounts of people saying bring him back.
Yeah, he was great. I mean,
Tom Holland's been to space, so he'd be a candidate guy, but Andrew hasn't been. He hasn't left New York.
Well, I think we're pretty sure he's going to have a possible role in an upcoming Marvel film.
Wait a minute.
He's going to be on a different planet.
Wait a minute.
If you know, you know.
What about the end of Endgame? He was in that? No.
No, he was in No Way Home.
Only Tom Holland was in that, yeah.
Yeah. But I mean,
looking for a loophole.
Well, I just said the loophole, Craig. If you read the comics, if you know the comics, they're about to do a film where he's probably gonna be there.
Well, I think No Way Home taught Sony something, that their Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man 2 characters have great value to bring them back and make films with them. You know, there was a lot of people, you know, it was hard for Andrew to follow our first Spider-Man guy. You know, Tobey Maguire was very, very loved. He did 3 of them, and then he stopped making them for all the pain, and it was very tough to make all those films because of the rigors they have to go through. But and nobody really liked Andrew Garfield as much, because, you know, sometimes you never want to follow a legend. You know, it's kind of like what's happening with our current Captain America. You know, you can't follow Chris Evans.
Yeah.
You know, like, you can't be the next coach at Alabama after Nick Saban, like right now. You can't follow a legend and be liked. But, you know, he was gone, you bring him in, but now they say that they may make an Amazing Spider-Man 3.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
I was the perfect age demographic for Andrew Garfield. I was 12 and 14 when his movies came out, and I loved them. I was that niche little market between Tobey Maguire and Tom Holland, and I definitely remember hearing about him being at your show, Bob, and was wishing I could get down there. But yeah, it's super cool that he came anyway, and hoping that happens. There's part of me that's holding out for that, but we'll see.
He is our all-time record holder for the most autographs and photographs that we sold at the show.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Lucky to get both. And my oldest daughter, is a huge Spider-Man fan, and she was like, there's no way, no how I'm not going to get his autograph and be in a picture with him. And she got it. Both my kids got him. So, yeah, I mean, you got 3 photo ops from my family and 2 signatures from my family. So that's 5 experiences right there, just for my family alone.
So adding, you say 5, I'd say probably there's 10 guests. I'd like to have Tobey Maguire on that list.
That would be huge. I'm telling you right now, Bob, that would be.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
My daughter
The
will have
hardest
to
thing to
give
get
me.
him is his other job. You know what his other job is?
No, I don't. What's his other job? Being best friends with Leonardo DiCaprio.
He's a big time poker player.
Yes, I've heard of that. Yes.
Yeah. What's the movie?
You should bet him that he won't come.
No, I'd have to put together a big time poker game. You can be at the show during the day, and then you can play poker all night. What's that movie? What the hell's that movie with
Ben Affleck? Is it Rounders?
No, not that one. Poker movie with.
Is it 21 with Kate Bosworth?
Molly's Game.
Okay, with
You ever see Molly's Game?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't think I've
yeah,
ever seen that.
that the guy who's the prick player. That's that's made after Tobey Maguire. That whole scenario is all real.
Oh, I
Yes.
think I heard that.
Yeah, you got to go watch that. It's a true story of Molly Bloom. She was an Olympic class skater who ran the world's exclusive high stakes poker game, and before she was arrested by 17 federal agents, and because there were people in her game that were Russian mafia and big time money, and they wanted her to spill the beans on everybody. She didn't keep any. Jessica Chastain.
Yes.
But anyways, Michael Cera plays, his character name is Player X. It's because they weren't going to say Tobey Maguire.
Ah.
So go watch that movie and realize that Player X is Tobey Maguire. And
Wow.
you'll get a new perspective.
That's crazy.
Interesting. Yeah. You'll get another 5 autographs, photo ops from my family if you bring Tobey Maguire. So
I'm sure you better order it early because it'll sell out in a day.
I'm sure we will. My kids will be on top of me.
Because they will come from all over the world for that.
Yeah, to them, that's their Star Wars, is the original Tobey Maguire Spider-Man films.
Yep. So let me ask you guys a question.
Yes.
So if you were putting together a show, would you have just 6 unbelievable headliners and that's it, and not have all the tier 2 and tier 3 people?
You've had
I guess
both.
it depends
As opposed to what other option? 6 big ones or
Well, then I'm going to say the big one. There's a difference between having somebody that's $400,000-$500,000 versus people you're going to have to pay $1 million. Like Chris Hemsworth, he'll come to a show one day, $1 million.
wow.
It's very hard to run the numbers because
Yeah.
fans don't like it, but you have to be charging $300 to $350 to $400.
Yeah.
Have you seen the prices on Mark Hamill?
Yeah,
Like
$500.
Like
something.
Star
$500.
How
Yeah.
much?
$500 for his autograph or a photo op with him.
I think it's even more to do a send-in.
Well, that's because you're paying the send-in service.
Yeah.
Yeah, like when he was at San Francisco last year. I mean, it was, they want you to guarantee $1 million, but he ended up walking away with $2.6 million.
Wow.
Wow.
I mean, it's one of those things for me personally. Everything goes up in price. And the reputation that SPACECON has now is that it's a great convention, if not the greatest by this point. But yeah, if you wanted to bring in Chris Hemsworth for one day and pay him his asking price, people would still pay, I would think. I know people don't want me to say that, but
Well, the thing is that even if you have 3 megastars,
right.
yeah, but the other stars are not going to. There's not going to be any money left over. For them.
Oh, okay.
Sure. I see what you mean.
But part of having and I'll tell you what I believe that most cons make the mistake of is they're just announcing their guest 3 to 4 months out. when you launch like we did last year with SPACECON a year in advance, people can be making purchases all along down the road. I mean, we had 700 people. By the time we got to December 31st in 23, we were 2 months on sale with Hayden Christensen. 700 people had already bought an autograph or photograph.
I was one of them.
We still had 10 months.
Yeah.
So if you could announce them far enough in advance so that people can space out their purchases, it works a lot better.
Yeah, I'll agree. I've 100% followed that plan. I got Hayden, I think it was either October or November when you went on sale with him in 23. I got him then and saw Rosario get added, Ewan get added, and did just that, Bob, for sure.
Well, good. Where's your pictures?
Oh, man. Here's mine. I think David's got it digitally. I don't know if you got that.
Yeah, I have it digitally if you want me to just bring it up.
Here we go. So I got one with Ewan and Hayden.
There you go.
That was a great experience for sure. And then I got an autograph from Hayden. I got the lightsaber on my desk right here, and looking up at my wall, I got a Funko from Rosario and Ewan that are sitting right next to each other. And then Ahmed Best and Matt Wood. I got this little. David's got the same thing, I think.
Yeah, you can see it there.
This little 2-pack, this little niche Funko that's got General Grievous and Jar Jar Binks. I'm like, wow, they're both going to be there. This is going to be something cool to have.
Yeah.
So,
did you like meeting Jar Jar?
Oh my gosh, he was so cool. He's a huge dude. Like, he's super cut, he was amazing. He was so fun. He was so fun to meet. Such a nice guy.
To me, he had like the build of an NFL cornerback. I was like, wow, this guy's big.
He's big. I wouldn't want to be on the wrong
speaking
side
of showing
Ahmed.
pictures, Bob. Speaking of showing pictures, Bob, I'm glad you brought it up, because to show you how big of a Spurs fan I am, I got Diego Luna to pose with the Wemby jersey.
There you go.
I also got Andy Serkis to pose with the Wemby jersey.
I loved Andy. Andy was, when you look at what he did at our show, when we had him, he flew around the world to get to us, and he was late from production, and he'd get in. I mean, he ended up doing his panel till like 9:00 at night, and all the people that stayed there, and how he just had everybody sitting in his seats, and they were listening to him, and he was just a wonderful, wonderful guy. I've tried to get him to come back, but he had filming conflicts, because I think that there's a big group of people out there who would like to meet him because of all his work.
He's a great guy. I've met him twice now, and he's fantastic. And he's filming the new Lord of the Rings in New Zealand right now. So
that's where he's based. That's where he's based. Yeah, if you've never been to New Zealand, go there. My wife and I went there 2 Decembers ago. And Wellington, you go see where the studio is there. It's pretty phenomenal.
Very cool.
There's the one with Orlando Bloom. Speaking of New Zealand, Lord of the Rings.
We were the first one to do Orlando last year. And he's gone to a couple other shows, but he's been tough to cover his guarantees and things what they wanted. But hopefully he's making a lot of money making those cruise ship commercials with what's her name? The girl from E.T.
The girl from E.T.
Yeah, the young girl.
Oh, Drew Barrymore.
Drew Barrymore. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I apologize, guys, but I do have to head out. I'm so sorry. I wish I could stay
So
longer.
do I. On that note, we've been talking for a long time, an hour and 14 minutes.
Bob, it was amazing to see you again. I'm going to get off in a sec, but we would love to have you back on anytime as a guest and hang out and just talk Star Wars or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, if the project if it comes through, if I can get it, maybe we'll get back together soon.
Awesome.
That would be great.
On that note, I'm going to head out, but I will see you guys soon. Thank you so much, Bob.
All right.
Hey, Craig.
Thanks, Craig.
Bye.
And I was just saying, Bob, we didn't even get to talk about Disney coming to SpaceCon. That's huge. They're jumping on the SpaceCon bandwagon now.
Yeah, we're getting them to they say they're coming. getting an answer out of them is like, I mean, they're so secretive and quiet, and they sent us pictures of what the set looks like, and bringing in their robot and all that, but we'll see.
Yeah.
We got them right in the center of the vendor village, so we'll see.
All right, yeah, for sure. And yeah,
all right,
we have
guys.
so many things to talk about, but yeah, we know your time's important, Bob. We want to respect it. And
where do I send the bill?
Podcast. What's that?
Where do I send the bill?
To David, straight to David.
Well, I mean,
Or
you're
Craig.
making a great convention, and I attend it, and it's just fantastic. And
Yeah.
I get really emotional at it because it's like, it's here, it's in South Texas, it's where I live. All these big stars are coming to us. I don't have to fly anywhere. And the panels
But
are great.
guys, look at David. You're a capital D, David. Zach's a capital Z, all caps. I'm all lowercase. I'm having issues here over this. That
Well, you change it in the
lowercase.
settings.
I got it. Your props department must not be very strong.
Well, we try. But yeah, thank you so much for coming back on.
All
And
right.
hopefully you'll be back on soon with an announcement, possibly with some more Star Wars guests. And yeah, we just wanted to tell you we love SpaceCon. We
Yeah.
love
All
what
right.
you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing.
24th to the 26th.
Yep.
Perfect.
All right.
All right.
Over and
Well,
out, guys. I will see you soon.
See you soon, and may the Force
Awesome.
be with you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Bob.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.